Hello guys and welcome back to the Together We Grow podcast. This is episode 50 and in this podcast, this is where we teach home fragrance business owners how to start, grow and scale their own business based on our years of experience of doing the same with us.
We share all of the knowledge that we've gathered over the years, all of the triumphs we've had and all of the failures and all the problems as well, and hope that you can learn something from it to be able to grow your business however you want to and hit your goals.
There you go. So if that sounds like something you might be interested in, then subscribe to this podcast. If you're on YouTube, subscribe to the channel because we've got loads of stuff coming. Okay, so this particular episode is episode 50, so bit of a landmark number, and we thought we'd tell a bit of a story. This is going to be a story time podcast. We're going to go back and we're going to talk about the 6 years of us building Cosy Aromas, or our home fragrance brands in general, growing it to 7.5 million in sales, and what it felt like and sort of the process that we went on. I think that could be quite interesting and it'd be quite nice for us to talk about as well for a bit.
Yeah, I think so. I think it'll be quite nice to gain some knowledge from that as well.
Let's get into it.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, it was back in 2018, wasn't it? That's when we started.
Yeah, it's strange because it feels so long ago, but also it doesn't feel that long ago at all, does it? It's weird how time does.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Because you think about it, it was 2 years ago that we sold it, but 2018 was only 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So a lot happened in that short amount of time. And yeah, I mean, if you don't know the story, then basically you were working in a school, weren't you, a school for disabled children?
Yep, I'd worked there for just short of 12 years, and while I loved my job and I loved the children I looked after, things had changed. It got a bit more political and it wasn't somewhere that I enjoyed being anymore. And if you don't enjoy your job when you spend that amount of time in it, it's not worth being there for it any longer, really, is it? No,
that's something I've always picked up on, something I've always sort of said back when I had the marketing agencies as well. If people weren't enjoying it, then I would be honest with them and say, well, maybe you shouldn't be here. You know,
if you're not going to do a good enough job.
But also just from their point of view, you know, you've got to enjoy what you do, haven't you? Otherwise, it's just imagine that, turn up to work every day hating your job, and the job is like the main thing you do. It's just
it's a horrible cycle, isn't it? Because you spend all day there pretty much. So at the time, we hadn't actually discussed me leaving or doing anything like that. We just knew that I wasn't in the right frame of mind to be there. But you used to work all over Suffolk, didn't you? And you had meetings everywhere, and you'd always bring me home little presents, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And the last set of presents you brought me home was a trio of candles, and they were like cocktail-scented candles, but they were rubbish, weren't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. So I thought, well, you know, because I love candles and home fragrance, it can't be that hard to make a candle. So did a bit of research, bought the first supplies and started trying it out, didn't we? And then we realised that actually candles are quite difficult to get right. And we then looked into wax melts and we started making them, and family and friends were sampling them and trying them out and really loved them. And then the idea of working for ourselves, or working for myself, came about, didn't it? So the idea was that I would be able to replace my income and just work from home, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Obviously at the time, my job was, I was in marketing. So I was driving around Suffolk everywhere, meeting different businesses and chatting to them about their digital marketing, their websites and stuff. So I was used to all of the building websites, advertising, getting customers basically. And because I'm quite entrepreneurial anyway, I was like, well, let's have a little look at the competition out there. And there's a lot of competition, you know, this was only a few years ago, so there's a lot of people doing it. So, you know, as a business person, you always have to look at where's your gap in the market. You don't want to be the same as everybody else. So we kind of realized that everyone was kind of doing the same size things, like these little 50-gram snap bars and stuff like that. So we decided to go bigger. We did like a little 80-gram pod.
110-gram pod.
Our first pod was an 80-gram pod, a really thin 80 gram, and you could snap it, you could scoop a little bit out, all of that kind of stuff. And we really dived into it, and I would put together a landing page which explained, you know, if you sign up, you're going to get this and you'll get a free thing for your first month. Because we started as a subscription service, didn't we?
We did, yeah.
Because I knew that recurring revenue is the best thing you could ever have. So that's how we decided to start. It was going to be a monthly subscription box, 6 wax melts in a letterbox friendly box, posted every single month. Simple as that. And yeah, I started advertising it, started creating the content, doing all of the stuff that you should be doing, getting some Facebook ads behind there. And yeah, we built up an email list of like 1,500, no, well, how many was it? Probably about 700 or 800 people.
I can't remember the number for that.
Yeah, about 700 or 800 people, something like this. And we're like, wow, okay, this has got some legs. So yeah, we launched. And did we launch when you were at work or left?
I was still at work then.
Still at work. Yeah. So we launched it and we're like, wow, 700 people. How many subscribers are we going to get? We had one subscriber in the first like 7 minutes.
Yeah. I still remember the first customer's name as well.
This was Friday, 31st of March, 2018 is when we launched. And by the following Monday, we had 3 subscribers.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And 2 weeks passed and we had 3 subscribers. Like, oh, right. And we were advertising. We were doing all of the stuff we should be doing. Like, okay, all right then. What's going on here then? And then we started doing the reactive stuff. You always have to test these things and try different things. So we were working with like online influencers, online publications. Then I did the thing where it was get your first month for £1.
Yeah.
And then we had a few more people come in. We're like, okay, we're up to like 30 or 40 monthly subscribers here. We thought, wow, this is brilliant. And then we thought, right, let's accelerate this. Let's do your first box for free.
Yeah.
And I think we had a maximum of like 300 or something we were going to do.
Yeah.
They went, and we advertised this as well for our Facebook ads. They went within a day, 2 days. We're like, oh my God, we're at nearly, in total there, at that point, we're up to about 350 subscribers. We're like, wow, this is brilliant. Guess what? Renewal came round, 98% of all of those people didn't renew.
Yep.
They all cancelled their subscription. They all didn't want to pay, etc., etc., etc.
That's the problem. The quality of leads were non-existent.
So that was a huge lesson there, which was like, do not lead with a free month or like a really stupidly discounted month, because you'll just get the freebie hunters. You'll get the scumbags of the world that just want something for free. They don't care what it is. They want something for free. They have no intention of paying for you. We had some people that would like keep signing up under different names to the same house.
Yeah.
Luckily, we were vetting these and we could see it. But those just general scumbags that just, you get them, don't you?
Yeah, they always just want something for free and they don't care about your business that you're trying to build or anything.
So that was a huge, very expensive lesson. So then we're like, right, what do we do here? And then that's when I really sat down and started to map this out. I was like, okay, going back to what I know about my marketing days, we need to have people come in, buy from us, hook them in, and then continue to buy from us. How can we do that? Nurture. So story, document our journey from doing it from the kitchen table, document you working there every day, stories, social media posts, not these massive selling posts all the time, but just document what we're getting up to. Then we decided to develop a no-brainer offer, one that actually where we could break even or make some money on the first order. So we created these little sample boxes.
Yes, they were cute, weren't they? They were quite fun to make as well, and they were just like little love heart wax melts. Put them in the rows of, there were 7, I think there were 4 different scents in there, and it was a great way for people at a low cost option to try out 4 different fragrances at once, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And we did them as a buy one get one free as well, didn't we? So you can choose 2 different boxes, and so they can sample out 8 different fragrances. And at a bargain price, and then of course, because your products are already fantastic, when people buy them, they want to get more, don't they?
By this point, we were starting to get a few reviews. We had a Facebook group, which had a few people in there, and it was hard to get people engaged, as you'll probably know. But you just have to plod along, keep going with it. We were starting to get reviews, so the website was starting to pad out a little bit. We were getting followers online, so we looked like a proper business, or from the face of it. And it was just you working. And yeah, we did this buy one get one free. Behind the scenes, I had a little bit of retention going on. So we had email flows, which nurtured them a bit and encouraged them to come back, encouraged them to visit our Facebook group, encouraged them to buy, all that kind of stuff. Everything that we teach, that's what we do here at the Home Fragrance Academy, is just everything that worked for us and works now, because some tactics change, we teach you. And yeah, we did that. And then we just started putting some money behind it, £10 a day, £20 a day.
Yeah, start low and scale up as things are progressing well.
Yeah, and the thing is, with the ads, and the same applies now. In fact, it's easier to advertise now because the algorithm is so much better.
Intuitive.
But it's just all about testing. You just have to persevere and you have to test. You have to have some budget set aside because you have to leave them to run for like a week before you make any changes and before you make any decisions. but you have to continuously test these different things. And that's where a lot of people get stuck now, I think. If an ad doesn't work after a couple of days, they'll try and make heavy changes. Where actually it's all about testing. You have to keep doing these things.
Yeah, we hear that sometimes from some of our members, don't we? That they've tried an ad, it didn't work for a day, so they turn it off.
Yeah. And then we were like, okay, this is starting to work now. So we started to scale it up. And we were doing a few £100s a day, which was great.
Yeah.
A lot of that, of course, was on ads. A big chunk of that was on ads and supply. So we weren't really making much profit at this point. You weren't paying yourself. It took a few months for you to end up paying yourself. And it got to a point where 4 a.m. I was getting up. I was making a batch of wax melts and getting them all out of them, all set and everything out of their molds. So then when Tamar came downstairs, when she woke up, she had a fresh set of molds to make some more wax melts.
Yeah.
You'd make them all up at home, then we'd take all of that, or you would take all of that to our little storage unit where you'd make up these sample boxes, you'd package the orders and all that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and then we'd have our postal collection come for any orders that we'd had the day before and overnight and everything, get all of those orders posted out, and I'd always write like a handwritten thank you for your order note in every one of them as well, because that's a good little bit of retention then. It doesn't cost you anything to do. And then it would go back home and spend the whole afternoon making more and more wax melts, as many as I possibly could, for these buy one get one free boxes. Then you'd come home, we'd quickly eat something and then do it all again, all the way through till like late at night, didn't we?
Yeah, and that was our life. And I'm sure you can relate to this, but our kitchen and our house was just taken over by wax. Everything had this slippery surface. It just stunk of fragrance oils all fighting against each other.
Yeah, it did.
And yeah, the house wasn't really a pleasant place to be honest, at that point. And then, we did that for weeks and weeks, months, because, you have to dedicate time to these things. And at this point, our confidence was actually, it was rocky when we went through that phase of getting loads of subscribers and then they all faded off. But then at this point, we were like, okay, our confidence is increasing because we were getting first-time customers. But the best feeling was that existing customers were coming back from us.
Yeah.
Because we started off as a subscription box and then we very, very quickly thought, okay, that's not going to work on its own. So we introduced an online shop and had a subscription as a separate thing.
And it wasn't just that that's what we thought was the right thing to do, it's also what the subscribers are asking for, because they've got their 6 fragrances and they absolutely loved Rose, for instance, and they really wanted to buy more of it, but they couldn't. So they were obviously a bit disappointed with that. So they wanted to have somewhere to be able to buy more of it.
Yeah. And that was it. So that's why we did it. And so we were getting these first-time customers coming in, and then we started to see a trend. After a week or so, because they'd tried 8 of these different fragrances in these sample boxes, they'd go to our shop and you'd see them buy a couple of their favourites and maybe a couple of new ones.
Yeah.
And then maybe a couple of weeks later, because we'd done our marketing right, some of them would join the subscription box. And the whole thing was slowly, it was like this little machine, this engine, this retention engine that I call it. This engine was really starting to chug along and we're like, okay, wow. So our confidence was up because, you have to be on it with the data and the numbers. You have to know your retention rates. You have to know your customer lifetime value, average order value, all of this kind of stuff, because it helps you make smart decisions on how you grow your business and where you direct your money and your profits.
Where you invest your time as well as the money.
Yeah. So we were like, wow, okay, this has got legs now. And we were reinvesting profits back into more ads and scaling up, weren't we?
I think when we were doing that, when you were hitting those moments of scaling, even at such a low, small business position as that, it feels real, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think it feels like you've really got something here. You can see that you're having to invest more in ads and your numbers are all going up. And you get like that little buzz, don't you? And it does feel really exciting that you're properly building something.
Yeah. It really does. And yeah, we were doing £600, £700, £800 a day, something like this. And bear in mind, it was just Tamar in the business, so that's quite a significant business on its own there. And yeah, we were absolutely flat out. Then our first Black Friday came along. We didn't really know
what to expect.
I'd ran Black Fridays for other brands before, but not a brand for ourselves, but also not like a community inspired brand. And that's what we found that home fragrance really is. If you get it right, your customers become fans. They want to follow you, your journey, but they also want to collect the products you make. Yeah, so it was like a proper community. So anyway, for that weekend, we just did some discounts. We introduced reed diffusers, I believe, various, and we just did some discounts. And I think it was the Friday and the Saturday. On both days we hit our first £1,000 days, didn't we?
That was absolutely amazing. And then on the Monday, I go to the storage unit to pack all the orders. And it's also the very first time that I filled up a full trolley with orders and postal sacks and boxes. So I took a photo of that, didn't I? And was sharing that on our Facebook group and thanking everybody.
And then as we went through December, I mean, we were starting to get knackered. You had a bit of an issue where you had to have some time off.
Yeah, I kind of hit
burnt out,
bottom,
didn't you?
just burnt out completely.
Yeah, so you had to have some time off. So obviously I had to take over and run production and do all of that. Plus had the job, and this was throughout December, and we were doing £25,000. We were like, oh my God, this is insane. We were still reinvesting into things and doing stuff. We didn't get everything right. We ran ads, we ran campaigns, we launched new products too early, things that flopped, all of that kind of stuff. There was a lot of mistakes there, a lot of costly mistakes. So yeah, £25,000 sounds amazing, of course, and it is. Don't get me wrong, but we weren't hugely profitable at this point. You were obviously paying yourselves.
Yeah.
The business was profitable, but we were reinvesting the products profit into other things.
Yeah.
And then it came to January, and January just started off. I think we were doing £1,000 days consistently.
Yeah.
And January we did just over 30, or just under maybe £30,000. And we're like, okay, this isn't letting up now. This has really got legs, really doing well. And that's when I left my business that I was involved in, and we got the keys to our first little unit.
Yep.
And then that was a point where we're like, oh shit,
this is real.
This is real now, because we've got. But firstly, it needs to pay both of our salaries. So therefore, our whole livelihood depends on this business. Plus, it was a real business now. It had its own unit. It had its own utility bills. We had accountants. We had all this kind of stuff. These suppliers, we're starting to get some suppliers on credit. We're like, okay, we cannot mess this up. And when you're in that position, it forces you to make a success of it. You'll do everything you can to make sure it does not fail. You'll try things. You'll be brave. You'll make brave decisions, but smart, calculated decisions.
It was a really exciting time. That first time that we unpacking everything in our new first ever proper unit, wasn't it? We were there together, took the van down, unloaded everything, and it felt like such a huge space, didn't it? And it was a big space, because obviously we'd gone moving the production from our little tiny kitchen into an actual unit, and it felt amazing. But at the same time, it did feel like a lot of pressure, didn't it? We had to pay the bills on this. We had to make sure we had enough orders coming in and enough people coming back to make it work.
Yeah, and then that's it. And we just kept ramping up our no-brainer offer. I think we introduced another box as well, didn't we? Another fragrance box.
Yeah, we ended up with 4 different fragrance boxes at one point. But then we had a target of, we had to send out 300 boxes a day, didn't we?
No, it was, I think we wanted to make,
yeah.
Was it make 100 boxes a day? I can't remember.
200 boxes a day.
200 boxes a day, because our orders for this was going through the roof. And you think about it, each one of these was a little wax melt heart shape in a silicone mold. Each box had 7 of each fragrance, and there's 4 fragrances. So there's 16 fragrances. Each box needed 7 of each. So that's 1,400 hearts of each fragrance needed per day.
And then when you also work out, you've got the box to fold, you've got the paper to put in, then you've actually got the time to put it all in, then you've got to seal it all with the stickers and everything. It takes a long time to get all of this done.
It was intense, yeah, it was. But you stick with it, because we treated this as our lead generation. This was getting proper paying customers through the door. We weren't making a huge amount of profit on these first time orders, because you have the expense. It's a buy one get one free, so you have double the expenses there. You have postage, you have everything involved in it, plus the advertising costs to get them in.
But it wasn't about that, was it?
No, it was about getting people in for our customer retention, and we could see our customer retention rate was getting good. So we just kept ploughing money into these ads. We're doing 30, 35k a month. Basically, by the March, in our first year, I've done blog posts about this, and I've got like a little screenshot of our first year as well. £163,000 in our first year, which was pretty good. And you can see how we're on the screen, on the actual screenshot of this graph, you can see how it's really flat with a few spikes, and it just ramps up when this offer starts to kick in. And yeah, I mean, it was crazy. And 2019 was a wonderful year. It was me, you, and Willow in that warehouse. The business was earning good money. We're getting some stuff behind us, getting some profit behind us. We're starting to really find our feet.
Yeah,
and then that's when we decided that, you know, firstly, it was a proper business. It wasn't a hobby. It was a proper business. And then we needed to start hiring people.
we did, because we physically couldn't. There was no more time in the day. There was only our hands, and we needed you to be able to focus on the more marketing side of things and the more growth.
Yeah, so this is the thing that so many people listening to this will probably do the same thing. You neglect the things that are actually important. Now, making products, packing orders are incredibly important. Of course they are, but anyone can do that. Yeah, you train them up, you have a flow that people follow, anyone can do that. Minimum wage people can do that, and they will do that, and they'll happily do that. That's who we employed. Yeah. You, as quickly as you possibly can, need to get yourself away from all of that day to day, and you need to get yourself into the office where you are marketing, you're advertising, you're strategizing, you're working on sales, you're working on getting more eyeballs on your brand and selling your products. It is vital that you do that. Otherwise, this is if you want to scale up. Otherwise, you're just not going to. You can't outsource that. If you outsource it, it's going to cost you a fortune. And also, if you outsource the whole of your marketing, it's going to cost you a fortune. And also, nobody is going to care about it as much as you do.
And you're at the risk of becoming faceless as well, aren't you? Because you need to be the one that's visible. You need to be the one that's talking to your customers and showing photos and videos and going live, all those sorts of things, so that they build up the awareness of you and your brand. Yeah. If you outsource it to somebody else and they're just sharing flat photos and, you know, very pretty salesy pictures, it's just not going to work very well.
We'll become a cold faceless brand. And you know, you can absolutely get external help on certain topics. You can get some people to run your ads, all of this, but you need to be the person directing them. You need to be the person that's like, right, this is our strategy. This is our offer. I'm testing this. I want to test this. You can help me with these different things, but I need to do it. I need to be on it. Okay. Yeah. And that needs to be your life. And then the logistical side of stuff, the warehouse stuff, get people in to help you. Yeah. Yes, it's a cost, of course it is, but
that's a smarter cost than it is hiring somebody to run all of your marketing and it becoming a faceless place.
Yep, that's it. That's what you do, and I promise you, it works, because as soon as I was in that office all the time, that's when things really did start to ramp up, wasn't it? And the business grew into something significant. We were testing offers. I was looking at different brands, just small tweaks. Like I'd spend a few days working on our email sequences based on all of the data, and tweaking them, and just like getting as many clicks, as many conversions as I can out of each email. But I couldn't do that. I wouldn't have the headspace to do that if I had to go out and make products throughout the day, and then I just quickly did it in the evening. I wouldn't have the headspace to look at all of our social media stats, see what was working, see what wasn't. What was working, create more content around that. It just wouldn't have the headspace. So it's important, it really is. And yeah, and over the next few years, that's how we grew. That's what we did. And it's so simple, really. Don't get me wrong, it's not easy, but the process is simple. A no-brainer offer to hook them in. You switch that no-brainer offer up every now and then if needed, when it gets a bit stale. Retention strategies in place to keep people coming back. And you have some kind of no-brainer offer for your existing customers.
One thing we did with our no-brainer offer is we did have to switch it up and change it, but we did it in a way that was easier to produce the products, didn't we? So we went from the little love heart moulds to pouring into little 1 ounce pots. And then we had the boxes, and they were buy 10, get 10 free.
That's it.
So we made it easier to produce more in less time.
Exactly. It's all about improving the processes and making sure you squeeze as much out of the day. At the same time, improving our brand. So instead of, like you say, pouring into molds, popping out, putting a piece of paper in a cardboard box, laying them all out, stickering it down, and then folding the box and putting a big sticker on the box, We then actually had printed boxes, investing in our brand, printed boxes, which meant, we were shaving off maybe 30 seconds per box because we didn't have to put stickers on it and line things up and all of that. And plus it was just a better unboxing experience,
It went from a very handmade feel to a professional feel, didn't it, when you received it?
And and that's it. You have the no-brainer offer to get people in. You have a retention engine in place, which is your email sequences, your social media nurturing, your Facebook group where you engage as yourself. And we would go live. We'd post every day as ourselves, just stuff we're up to, ask questions, get feedback, monitor the posts in there, reply to any issues, do stuff. Yeah, engage with people. And then we were constantly planning for like the months ahead. So I would plan out our summer collection, our winter collection. Every month we know what's happening throughout the month. So we know when we're going live, doing a live shop, we know when we're launching a particular collection. We'd have limited edition products or limited edition days, deals, things like that. So we knew that, let's say in July, we had 4 things happening in July spread across the month.
Yeah, but we knew roughly how much it was going to be costing us, not just for supplies and stuff, but also for the advertising side of things. We could budget that accordingly, couldn't we?
And at this point, we had good data where we would be able to work out how much we were getting in as well. So you imagine this, you have your no-brainer offer getting people in. You have your retention engine, which is getting people coming back and buying from you, which includes another really enticing offer for your existing customers. For us, our whole wax melt collection, we had buy 8 for the price of 6, average order value of about 35 quid. Every day that was flying out because these people are going to buy from us anyway. So we're trying to increase the average order value up to £35 by giving them a great deal. It's a no-brainer deal for existing customers. That doesn't work for brand new customers because they don't want to spend 35 quid with a brand new brand. Okay, then you're doing that. And then throughout every month, you've got multiple things happening. You've got collections launching, you've got limited edition launches, you've got live shops, you've got exclusive products only available for a day. This particular day, buy this, get double reward points, blah, 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 blah. And then you can imagine you've got just these cash injection days as well. It's just incredible, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And seeing, because we've done it, we've nurtured all of the customers and we've got them in the Facebook group, seeing them talking about all the fragrances that were being delivered and how excited they were for the new launches and the collections upcoming and things like that was really exciting as well, wasn't it?
It was incredible, yeah.
It was incredible, and because we'd nurtured them that much, they were doing a lot of the selling for us as well, weren't they?
Yeah. That's it. And then that's when things like just snowballs. We were hiring people, we were hiring loads of people in-house to do production. We had an operations manager who kind of ran the joint. Tamar was fully focused on product development and compliance. I was on marketing and business. And yeah, we had customer service people, we had people doing our social media, we had people running our Facebook ads, we had an in-house photographer for a little while, we had an in-house creative designer, all under my kind of leadership there. And it was just a wonderful feeling. It was a wonderful business. And yeah, as it grew and all this, it puts a lot of pressure on you, yeah? Because we were doing 130, 140, 150, I think we did like £180,000 every single month. But we had like 17 members of staff. We had a big warehouse.
We had a shop.
You've got, and all of our supplies and everything is on credit with our suppliers because that's the best way to manage cash flow. So you had like some massive bills come in. It was pressure, right? It's just pressure. And then you've got all the things in the world that happen. So you think throughout our short tenure of having the business, we had Brexit. We had the war, we had COVID, all these different things that just test you.
Yeah, and they definitely did that all right.
Yeah, and you adapt and we came out strong. And yeah, basically it got to a point where we were not enjoying it so much anymore. And it was putting real pressure on us mentally, on us together personally. And
physically as well.
Yeah, physically, of course. Because there's a lot of work and a lot of pressure.
We were typically doing 14-hour days in the warehouse, weren't we? Because we'd get in at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And the team didn't start till 8 because imagine that, like 3 hours worth of work we can get done before everybody comes in and starts asking questions and the phones are ringing and stuff like that. So we were doing very long hours, and then you've got like the live shops in the evenings.
We were always in before 6 o'clock. If we turn up after 6 o'clock in the morning, felt like we were late. And then some of those days as well, we'd have a live shop which went from 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. So it's a long day, right? And you all do long. Everyone does long days. You have to do it. And I'll tell you what it was. You know, some of you may know the story that Tamar and I went through IVF and all this, and it failed and all that kind of stuff. And we decided to look into adoption. And I'll be perfectly frank with you, it pissed me off. I was angry. We went to a meeting, all of this, and done it all, and we're like, okay, great, cool. And then we like looked into it to what it would be like for us. So in this meeting, it was all about, if you do adoption, all this kind of stuff, the parents have to be off work for a year and all this kind of stuff. And there was a lot of support for that from the government. There was a lot of support for that. So we're like, okay, what does that mean for us? It meant that we get literally zero help from the government. So we would have, and a part of adoption rules is you can't be at work. You have to be
off for a full 12 months.
For a full 12 months to really like nurture the child. You have to be. It's a rule. It's a law. So we couldn't work. So that's a big challenge on its own. But then also there's no financial help. There's no paternity leave. There's nothing like that to like financially help us do this. And I just got so angry with the idea of it.
You did.
I was like, what the hell? How the people, and there were so many like interviews and all of this kind of stuff we had to do. They would interview friends, family. They would want to search all of our financial records. Like it was crazy the amount of stuff they wanted to do.
And then all the coursework and learning you had to do, and all of the lectures you had to go to. We had to spend time in like a nursery or a school, free of course, getting to know children, didn't we? And sort of seeing if we could actually work with them. And I actually asked did I have to do this because I did 12 years working in a special needs school, and they went, oh no, you still got to do it even if you're active there now.
It was insane. And what really annoyed me the most was that I understand the need for doing that, and I support it. I really do. But you get people that pop out babies left, right, and centre who should, let's be honest, they're unfit. They're on drugs, alcohol, whatever it is. They're unfit. But they can keep allowing to do it. That's partly why you have children available for adoption. Yeah. There's no vetting. There's nothing that people can do. But because we can't have children ourselves and we want to do this, and we have a business and we're doing all the good things, we're really contributing.
Own our own house.
Yeah. It's like, it was just so much. And maybe I've said a million times, I think that maybe I'm thinking about this completely wrong, and I'm the arsehole for thinking this way, but still it really annoyed me. And that got me down, and we was just starting to like get on top. The business was starting to get us down, all this kind of stuff. We're like, right, what's the option here? What's the option? What do we do? So then we looked into selling it, didn't we?
Yeah. And originally it was to go down the adoption route, wasn't it? Because we needed that headspace to be able to explore it properly. And eventually we did decide that it wasn't for us, but selling the business was at the right time, I think.
Yeah, selling the business, it was the right thing to do. And it took us, we were advertising it for a year, but the actual selling process for us happened quite quickly, mainly because we were on the ball with it.
Yeah.
We had the offer in March 2024, and by the end of May 2024, it was sold. So that happened really. And now we're here in Cyprus. Basically, we decided that, the children's side of things, we decided it just wasn't really for us. But what we did decide was that we thought we're going to make a go of it with our life and just not be in that rat race. So that's why we started the Home Fragrance Academy now. So it's all digital based. So we can work from anywhere in the world. So why not work from a nice Mediterranean island? That's what we thought about.
Exactly. So we could have the lifestyle that we wanted, but still work and support as many businesses as we could. Yeah.
And I always have self-doubt. I'm like, was it all luck? Are we actually any good at doing this kind of stuff? Are we credible enough to teach people how to grow their own home fragrance business?
Well, there was an element of luck, of course, in every business there is. But I think that you're very hard on yourself with that.
There's luck, but there's also like,
having the balls to do
these 300 customers per day didn't just land in our lap because of luck.
No.
There was a little bit of luck at first, and then it's like, okay, hang on, this works. We then acted on it, and we're like, wow, okay, how do we get these back? Because a lot of people would say, yeah, you might only manage to grow through COVID. COVID was fantastic for us. There was a lot of businesses, but also there was many home fragrance businesses went out of business during COVID because they didn't know how to act on it. They panicked and they didn't know how to adapt and things like that. And so, yeah, it's luck. It's also everything else.
It wasn't just COVID that we had.
No,
yes,
I know.
we
There's
grew
the other
through
things
it,
as well,
but we had things both ends as well.
And yeah, but then so I'm quite hard on myself about all that. But then I think about the position of the businesses that we sold. We had Cosy Aromas, Wax Kind, and Craft HQ, and where they are now, basically. And if you're listening to this, and if you're one particular company listening to this, then you'll know exactly who you are. There's one company out there who basically, because the companies that we sold have just been run into the ground, basically. Customers dislike them. Customers are leaving left, right, and centre. And there's another company who have been doing a fantastic job over the past few years, and their marketing is on point. The products are fantastic. The community is fantastic.
Yeah, their customer retention is incredible.
They are a brilliant couple, and the brand they're building is brilliant. And our customers, the customers that we had, a few of them have now been alerted by how well this other company is doing, and are starting to go across there. Because, at Cosy Aromas, they're just being deserted basically, and everything is just gone to crap. So they're looking for other places to go. And because this other company is the one that is really standing out and doing well, they're going across to them, and they're having a great time.
They're being nurtured and supplied with the products they love. They're being nurtured, and that's what it comes down to, isn't it?
And that makes me happy. That really does, because it's a shame to see what's happening to the brands that we sold. And it's no surprise that anyone sort of listening to this will know that it's had that all of them have had serious downfalls. The complaints, just the stupid errors that happen all the time, just in their own marketing and stuff. It's such a shame to see. It really is. But it's out of our control now, right?
It is out of our control. But it's lovely to see some of the other brands stepping into that position and improving themselves and like almost taking up the mantle kind of feeling.
That's it. It really is. And it makes me feel good that knowing that, the tactics that we teach and things like that are having a positive impact on the companies and the brands that we work with.
Yeah.
And
they tell us that the improvements that they've made and the changes that they've put into place since working with us and listening to our podcasts and all of the things that we put out there, and doing the one-to-one mentorship and things with them as well. They implement these changes and things we suggest, and then they see the growth, and then they see the customers returning and new ones coming in, and it just feels amazing knowing that we're helping them to do that. It
does. Just being a support, basically, just being there, just to
sounding board.
Just to like advise and help out where we can. It's wonderful to see. And where some companies fail and are just like destroying stuff, it means that there's a great opportunity for other companies out there to do well, to do better, and they are. So which is great. So there you go. That was episode 50 of the Together We Grow podcast. That was just a bit of a blur of our story.
Blur of emotions and story.
Yeah, there we go. So anyway, we hope you enjoyed listening to that little story of ours.
Yeah, and if you did, make sure you leave a comment below if you are on YouTube, or subscribe as well, so make sure that you don't miss out on our future episodes.
And we'll speak to you in next week's episode. See you later, guys.
Bye, guys.